Deep within the secluded heart of rural Kentucky lay the forgotten town of Hollowstone, a place ensnared by its own twisted history. The town was known for its devout faith, its unwavering belief that they could shield themselves from any darkness that might emerge, but their conviction was about to be shattered in the most chilling and malevolent of ways. Hollowstone had always whispered tales of a presence lurking beneath its tranquil facade. An ancient evil, confined by forgotten rituals, lay dormant, biding its time until it could claw its way back into the world. The townspeople remained blissfully ignorant, unaware of the evil that seeped through the roots of their very existence. The town's religious fervor had given rise to a centuries-old tradition of exorcisms, passed down through generations like a grim heirloom. Enter Edgar Blackwood, a man of enigmatic origins, whose eyes held secrets that seemed to tear through the very fabric of reality. Tall and charismatic, he arrived in Hollowstone with an aura of authority that magnetized the vulnerable hearts seeking salvation. Edgar's reputation spread quickly, and even the skeptical Reverend Thomas found himself entranced by the newcomer's eloquent sermons. Edgar spoke of a faith beyond faith, a knowledge that delved into the forbidden and the arcane. His presence cast a spell over the town, drawing in a growing congregation of fervent followers. As the days unfurled into weeks, Edgar's teachings took a sinister turn. His sermons evolved into explorations of the mind's deepest fears, of the twisted paths that led to salvation through darkness. His followers, once devout, became increasingly fanatical, eagerly embracing rituals that danced on the precipice of madness. The first hints of horror surfaced during an exorcism performed on young Sarah Wilkins. The girl's possession had been subtle at first, her eyes flickering with shadows that no one dared acknowledge. During the exorcism, as the townspeople chanted their prayers, Sarah's voice transformed into a guttural symphony of pain and malevolence. Despite the terror that clawed at their hearts, Reverend Thomas and the townspeople pressed on, determined to expel the evil that held Sarah captive. Yet, with each prayer uttered, the air grew colder, and the church's once sturdy walls seemed to close in, pulsating with a sinister energy. Sarah's convulsions escalated, her body contorting in unnatural, bone-breaking ways. Edgar, his eyes alive with an unsettling fervor, whispered incantations that reverberated through the very soul of the church. Shadows danced in frenzy, merging and writhing as if they were alive. Sarah's cries transformed into an otherworldly chorus, her body suspended in a contorted mockery of life. And then, as if a dam had burst, an inky darkness poured forth from her, consuming everything it touched. The exorcism ended, leaving a trail of devastation. The church was in ruins, its sanctity violated by forces beyond comprehension. Sarah lay lifeless, her body broken and drained. But the horror was far from over. In the days that followed, a suffocating fear blanketed Hollowstone. Whispers spread like a contagion, accusing Edgar of summoning the very evil he claimed to fight. The once devout community fractured, its faith splintering under the weight of doubt and terror. Shadows seemed to stretch longer, and the woods that had once been a source of solace now harbored unseen terrors. Reverend Thomas, plagued by guilt and a gnawing sense of impending doom, confronted Edgar. The truth that emerged was more horrifying than anyone could have imagined. Edgar was not a mere preacher. He was a scholar of the arcane, driven by a madness that sought to harness the ancient evil's power for his own twisted enlightenment. The town, now teetering on the brink of collapse, rallied a group of survivors to confront Edgar and the evil that had been unleashed. Armed with desperation and their dwindling faith, they ventured into the heart of the woods, where the very fabric of reality seemed to fray. Their journey culminated in a nightmarish confrontation with the ancient entity itself and a descent into madness. The entity took on shifting forms, a swirling maelstrom of shadows and despair. Eyes gleaming with malevolence locked onto the survivors, their minds assaulted by visions of their deepest fears and traumas. Each step was a descent into madness, as the darkness clawed at their minds, threatening to consume them whole. One by one, the survivors fell, their minds shattered, their souls consumed by the void. Reality twisted and fractured until only Reverend Thomas remained, his sanity barely intact. He staggered back to Hollowstone, a harrowing account of the horrors he had witnessed poised on his lips. But the town, fractured and broken, met his words with skepticism. The community's psyche had been irrevocably scarred by the unspeakable terrors that had unfolded. The once unified town now stood divided by paranoia and dread, haunted by the malevolence they had summoned. Hollowstone became a place of eternal night, its streets haunted by the echoes of that fateful night. The once united community was now a fractured tableau of paranoia and terror. And somewhere, in the depths of the woods, the ancient evil waited, its hunger for souls undiminished by time. The scars left by that night would forever serve as a reminder that some horrors are not meant to be faced, that faith can crumble in the face of true malevolence, and that the shadows of the past can cast a darkness that stretches across generations.